Hello everyone, hope you're all doing good, and I wish you all a very happy new year and prosperous new year. And today I want to discuss about the thing which is most important in our day-to-day life, and that is the genetics and the miasms. You might have heard the term genetics, and what about the miasms? That is what I want to discuss with you all today. That is what is genetics, and in relation to the miasms, that is the homeopathic miasms, the term which we use for the cause of the any disease in the homeopathy is the miasms. So if we clearly study the history, అంటే మనం హిస్టరీకి వెళ్తే కనుక Hahnemann, the father of homeopathy, did not invent anything new, but it was already there in the nature. He just followed the nature. So when coming to the miasms, he is the first person where to give the term, means at the time of Hahnemann, where the science was not much developed and he did not get any sources to explain in a scientific manner where the what are the causes of the diseases. So the term miasm in his means that, so the term miasm is nothing but the cause of any diseases. After his prolonged and continuous practice of homeopathy, he noticed that the acute diseases are getting cured and the patients are getting relief from the acute conditions. Then what about the chronic diseases? He selected when. So after his continuous and prolonged observation for about 20 years of his observation through his experiments and the experiences from the literature, the chronic diseases, Hahnemann has mentioned that the chronic diseases are getting recurrent again and again due to some exhalations or due to some etiology, that is the miasm. He found that the chronic diseases and the acute diseases are getting cured, whereas the chronic diseases, they are continuing until the death, even though he has selected a similar remedy for the conditions and the symptoms gets relief for the some time, and then it recurs again and again. So here in this video I want to make you clear, all as a homeopath, make sure that at the time of Hahnemann he has given the term miasm, whereas coming to the modern medicine, means the modern scenario, whereas coming to the present scenario, the time of Hahnemann, at the time of Hahnemann the genetics even was not developed and it was not noticed at the time of Hahnemann. So when compared to the genetics and the miasms, how can we relate both? Is that Hahnemann intention is that is the genetics are the causes of the disease, or that is something beyond the genetics which is causing the most dangerous chronic diseases among the humans in the world? So let's talk a brief introduction about the genetics and the epigenetics, which causes the major and many types of diseases that is suffering the humans. See, nowadays frequently we can observe even the children are getting and suffering from the carcinomas. So what is the reason? These are all many queries where we can find the answers from the genetics and epigenetics. And in the first part I want to explain what is the genetics and the epigenetics. Well, we have already discussed that the genes are responsible for the transmission of diseases from one generation to the another generation. In the same manner, the miasms, which is explained by the Hahnemann, those are nothing but the causes of the disease, which is responsible for the transmission of diseases from generation to generation. So, before going to the comparison, before going to the link explanation between the genetics and the miasms, we will just have an brief idea about what is genes, what is epigenetics, and its structure. And I'll just want to make you know, yes, the genes, what is genes. And we all know that the living beings, human beings, and any living organism is made up of innumerable number of cells. So the cell is the basic structure of any living organism. The cell has many components. As we know, the nucleus is one of the components. What does the nucleus contains? The nucleus contains the chromosomes. We human beings will have a 23 pair of chromosomes. So that is that carries the chromosome carries the DNA, the sequence of code from generations to generations. So the 23 pairs of chromosomes which we have in the nucleus, we will just look into the structure of the chromosome. We all know that we have already seen that the structure of the DNA, that is deoxyribose nucleic acid. The DNA is a double helix structure. So the DNA contains bases, four bases in each segment of the DNA. The names are adenine, guanine, uh, thymine and cytosine, AGTC. So if we see the we commonly see generally see that a boy or a girl resembles the features of his mother or father. So how means the simply we can say that it is because of genes. So what happens, why the genes will carry to the next generation, how it carries means the code means the basis which we are talking about in the DNA is, for example, the code. I will give an example. So the code we are seeing here, the CTTGTAGC. For example, this is a code for a gray hair. So the gray hair gene, we will call this sequence of DNA sequence of bases. We'll call this as the gray hair gene. So this is how we can say that is carried to the next generation. So what is the role of chromosomes means the chromosomes make up the proteins. The proteins are nothing but it makes up the cells. So the proteins may be a different shapes which determines our body cells and that is nothing but the organs. So the determines the shape of the protein, the sequence of the gene which we are talking here. The sequence of the gene determines the shape of the protein, and in turn the protein is for to determine the function of the body, and the in turn the proteins will make up the cells, and the cells will make up the tissues, and the tissue will make up the organs. Ultimately what we see the outcomes like eyes and color of the eye, color of the hair and color of the skin, etc. So this is how the gene sequence will code a certain characters in our body. Then, what is epigenetics? This is a brief explanation about the genetics. And what is epigenetics means? Epi means upon. So the sequence which we see here, this is a DNA. So the environment upon the DNA is nothing but the epigenetics. So the epigenetics deals with the environment which we expose. So if we see commonly the twins, basically unidentical and identical twins. So the gene code which they carry, the gene sequence is the same in the identical twins. For example, I want to explain the epigenetics in a simple example. The twins who were born at same time, and the first boy, boy A is uh, grown up in one environment, and the another twin boy B, for example, we say has been grown in another environment. So the boy A grown, which has been grown in one environment like a positive environment, like a studies are good and he is in a good manner and he has become an IPS officer. What about the other twin boy who has been grown up from the childhood in the other environment, like he may become a thief or any other person, not so familiar, not so good. Then what is the reason? Both are identical twins, but ultimately they have grown up with different characters. What is the influence means the environment which they have grown. In the same manner, the genes that will carry the same sequence also, the epigenetics means the epi environment upon the genetics will certainly influence the person, that will lead to the diseases. చూస్తామండి గర్భవతులకి ఎప్పటికి కూడా నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్ ఇండియా త్రూఅవుట్ ద వరల్డ్, గర్భవతులకి మనం ఎప్పుడు తరచుగా చెప్పే మాటలు ఏంటంటే ఈట్ ఫుడ్ ప్రాపర్లీ, మెయింటైన్ మెంటల్ హెల్త్ ప్రాపర్లీ, మీన్స్ వాళ్ళని ఎప్పుడు సంతోషంగా బీ యాక్టివ్ అండ్ మెంటల్ హెల్త్ ప్రాపర్గా పెట్టుకోమని చూస్తూ ఉంటాం. అకార్డింగ్ టు ద ఎపిజెనెటిక్ మెకానిజమ్స్, సో మనం ఏదైతే చెప్తున్నామో ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ సరౌండింగ్ ద జీన్స్ దట్ విల్ డెఫినెట్లీ ఇంపాక్ట్ ఆన్ ద ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ ఆఫ్ ద జీన్ అని అంటున్నాం. So what is that external environment? Means that nothing but the nutrition which we take and the mental health, the stress and the medicines or the drugs which we take, that will definitely impact on the genetic expressions. సో సింపుల్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అండి, మీకు గర్భవతులుగా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఖచ్చితంగా చెప్తాము, పుట్టింటికి ముఖ్యంగా ఎందుకు పంపిస్తారు అంటే ద ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ఈజ్ అంటే తను చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి పెరిగిన వాతావరణం కనుక, తల్లిదండ్రులు అంటే తనకున్న ప్రేమ కానీ ఏదైనా కూడా దట్ విల్ బీ డెఫినెట్లీ ఇంపాక్ట్ హర్ మెంటల్ హెల్త్. సో ద మెంటల్ హెల్త్ ఏదైతే ఉందో సంతోషంగా ఉండమని చెప్తారు. అలాంటి టైంలో ఎనీ షాక్స్ కానీ దేనికి కూడా గురి అవ్వకూడదని చెప్తారు. దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ద సింపుల్ లాజిక్ అండి. పెద్దవాళ్ళకి ఎప్పుడైతే వితౌట్ ద సైంటిఫిక్ ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ దే హ్యావ్ బీన్ నోన్ మెనీ థింగ్స్ అండి. సో ద క్యారింగ్లో ఎప్పుడైతే ఒక ప్రెగ్నెంట్ లేడీస్కి ఎప్పుడైతే డాక్టర్స్ ఈవెన్ ద ఎల్డర్స్ ఎప్పుడు సజెస్ట్ చేసేది ఏంటంటే బీ హ్యాపీ ఆల్వేస్ అండ్ టేక్ ద గుడ్ న్యూట్రిషన్స్ డైట్ దట్ విల్ డెఫినెట్లీ క్యారీ టు ద బేబీ. సో ద ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో, ద వాట్ వీఆర్ లిస్టెడ్ హియర్, ద న్యూట్రిషన్, మెంటల్ హెల్త్, ద స్ట్రెస్ అండ్ ఈవెన్ ద పర్సనల్ లైఫ్ carried, everything will impact on the genes and that is carried to the next generations. So here this is about the brief explanation of the epigenetics mechanism. So coming to our homeopathic approach, how the genes is correlated with the miasms explained by the Hahnemann. So the miasms which he explained in the form of three terms like a sora, syphilis and psychosis, these are nothing but not a simple terms. It has its own diathesis. Diathesis means nothing but the susceptibility of an individual. So the individual which expresses his nature or the characteristics in the form of either the symptoms, either in the form of physical or mental symptoms, is nothing but the miasms. సో ద miasms ఏంటంటే మెనీ సైకలాజికల్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో కూడా చూస్తే కనుక చిల్డ్రన్ ఎప్పుడైతే పేరెంట్స్ యొక్క గైడెన్స్లో, పేరెంట్స్ యొక్క అఫెక్షనేట్లో పెరుగుతారో దే విల్ డెఫినెట్లీ హ్యావ్ అ కాగ్నిటివ్ బిహేవియర్ విత్ ద సోషల్ అండి. సో వెన్ ఎవర్ ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ ద చిల్డ్రన్ హూ డెవలప్స్ హూ గ్రోన్ అప్ ఇంటూ అ ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ who grown up with the criminal mind and the suspicious mind and the disastrous and any destructive characters. So if we see the children who has grown up with the destructive characters, with criminal mind, those are the psychological effect the child has been exposed during the childhood. సో ద సైకలాజికల్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో చూస్తే కనుక ద పేరెంట్స్ దగ్గర అండ్ వాళ్ళ అఫెక్షనేట్తో పెరిగిన పిల్లల యొక్క కాగ్నిటివ్ బిహేవియర్ ఉంటుందండి. లైక్ దే ఆర్ వెరీ socially friendly and they are not antisocial. They are not antisocial. So these are from the psychological point of view. So మనం చూస్తే కనుక not only Hahnemann, many stalwarts of the homeopaths like Kent and whatnot, everybody will give importance to the mental health. Means the mental health which is always healthy will reflect the healthy physical body, and this is the fact where the homeopaths will always give importance to the mental health. So from the psychological point of view మనం చూసాము. And the soric, psychotic, syphilitic miasms, what the Hahnemann has explained means the thing, environment which the child or any individual exposes will definitely impacts on the gene. So at the time of Hahnemann there is the science has been not evolved and not much developed, and the genetics even has not been evolved at the time of Hahnemann. So to explain his views and to explain the thing which is generating and transmitting from one generation to another generation, the Hahnemann has used the term miasms. వెల్, ఈ మధ్యకాలంలో మనం చూస్తే కనుక అండి, పిల్లల్లో బిహేవియరల్ డిజార్డర్స్, పర్సనాలిటీ డిజార్డర్స్ ఇలా చాలా రకాలుగా, లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆటిజమ్స్, ఏడిహెచ్డి ఇలాంటివి చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఫ్రీక్వెంట్గా చూస్తున్నామండి. వై? బికాజ్ వి విల్ నాట్ సీ ఎనీ జెనెటికల్ చేంజెస్. యాజ్ ఎ సెడ్, జీన్స్లో ఎలాంటి చేంజ్ ఉండదు. ద కోడ్ విల్ నెవర్ చేంజ్, ద స్ట్రక్చర్ ఆఫ్ ద జీన్ విల్ నెవర్ చేంజ్, బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్డ్ బై ద ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్. సో ద ఎపిజెనెటిక్ మిథైలేషన్ అండ్ మెకానిజం జనరేషన్ టు జనరేషన్స్ వచ్చే కొద్ది ఏమైందంటే, పిల్లల్లో మనకి చాలా చిన్న ఏజ్ నుంచే ఇలాంటి బిహేవియర్ అండ్ పర్సనాలిటీ డిజార్డర్స్ చూస్తున్నామండి. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు హానీమన్, హీ సెడ్ దట్ హీ సెగ్రిగేటెడ్ ద క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ అండ్ ద certain types of symptoms in the three miasms, that is sora, syphilis and psychosis. Whereas soric patients, for example, they are very active and very intelligent, they react to the things in very quick manner. The syphilitic nature lo chusukunte, it is not a syphilitic disease, but syphilitic under the syphilitic tendencies. He has given certain tendencies like they are very moody, very dull, suicidal tendencies will be there, they are very sluggish, not interested to the talking to others, etc. And whereas in psychotic, certain diseases like tumors, overgrowths and developments ilantivandi, they come under the psychotic miasms. So this is nothing but what Hahnemann want to tell means, he has given certain instructions in his organon of medicine that during the pregnancies, even at the time of pregnancies, there are certain doses where the miasmatic doses will help the women's and all the generations not to get the further diseases to the next generations. Means ee doses valla enti ante, through the homeopathic doses, most of us are not aware of this, that the pregnancies are very important to take the homeopathic medicines. Homeopathic medicines endante, if at all there is any ancestral diseases in us, అంటే ఉమెన్లో ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక ancestral diseases ఎప్పుడైనా ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ దే మే నాట్ బి ఎక్స్పోజ్డ్ ఇన్ హర్, తనలో అది బయట పడకపోవచ్చు. ఇన్ కేస్ దట్ మే బీ ట్రాన్స్మిటెడ్ టు ద నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్స్, the homeopathic doses will help you a lot in not transmitting the diseases to the next generation. At the same time, the babies are very immune to the environments. ఇప్పుడు రేపు మనం చూస్తే కనుక పిల్లల్లో చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి ఇమ్యూనిటీ లెవెల్స్ తగ్గిపోతున్నాయి. దే ఈవెన్ కాంట్ ఎక్స్పోజ్ టు అ కోల్డ్, ఈవెన్ టు అ రైనీ సీజన్స్, ఈవెన్ టు అ హాట్ వెదర్, ఇలా. సో కంపారిటివ్గా మన యాన్సెస్టర్స్ చూసుకుంటే దే ఆర్ వెరీ ఇమ్యూన్ టు ఆల్ ద టైప్ ఆఫ్ టెంపరేచర్స్. ఇప్పుడు పిల్లలు చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి ఆ టెండెన్సీ తగ్గిపోతూ వస్తుంది. వాట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు కన్వే త్రూ దిస్ వీడియో ఈజ్, it is very important and it is very much helpful to take the homeopathic medicine and the doses during at the time of pregnancies also. And I hope you all understand and like this video. Take care. Bye bye.